Okay, let's do it. Hello, Sissy Joanne Stevens. The early bird. What does the early bird get? Thank you for coming and welcome aboard the GQUAT family reunion bus, where good friends become family and family is everything. I'm looking on my phone and waiting for it to show up. Oh, now it says I'm live. So people will start walking and waltzing in the room. Oh, boy, I was frazzled today running around, and it's still hot. It's still hot. Hello, Martika. Thank you for coming and welcome. The retired gardener. Hello. Thank you and welcome. What was I looking at you doing today? Something I looked at a short of something you were doing early. Hello, my Renaissance grandma. Thank you for coming and welcome. Hello, Maria Graham. Thank you for coming and welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. I went to the eye doctor yesterday and had my eyes dilated. They still seem fuzzy or like something is wrong with them. But we just keep going and going and going. Is everybody, yes, first in the room after Auntie Joanne? Well, thank you, Martika, for claim. Okay, girls. No leaning forward. Too hot for a wife beater and a shirt. Hello, Barb Brownlee. Just came inside from dropping more flower seeds in your pot. I'm going to do the same thing. Thanks, everybody, for hitting the like button on your way in, including me. Including me. I don't know what it means when it says that the the chat has moved. Things are so strange. Um, One of the channels posted that everyone who has a channel and is trying to be monetized, and everybody was trying. Hey, G Mama Grows, thank you for coming and welcome. And I'll just finish this thought because I want to ask G Mama something. That instead of taking 4,000 hours to get monetized, that you only need 3,000. So that's a big whoop de doo. Hello, Gigi Naturals Homestead. Thank you for coming and welcome. All my sisters and nieces and nephews, and Mike's Chaotic Gardening, telling the girls to behave. So I am in my phone and I'm going in the live chat because maybe Gigi or some experienced person can tell me how I had an incident and oh, wait a minute, something is wrong. G Mama Grows, go to channel because G Mama Grows is a subscriber. Her anchor is not on. I don't know what's going on. I don't see her in blue in the chat. And she said that she was in a time out before. Gigi or Maria, do any of you know how to help me fix that? It's very upsetting because G Mama has been here from the beginning, dropping all the links that I need and doing things, and I don't know how to. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, G Mama. I did what you told me, what Nikki told me, whatever. You're back. You're back. Tori, thank you for coming. And I needed some brain games. I just played a brain game with this YouTube channel trying to figure things out. But G Mama Grows, I see your wrench is back. So yay! I fixed it accidentally. Oh, and I need some Mac user, and I know that's you, Mr. Tori's brain. Okay, to drop a link. I almost know how to do it. I know how to go in, but on Apple, so you do a control C to copy a link, but is it control V like Victor or control B like boy to paste it? Can somebody please tell me how to do that? Control V like Victor or control B like boy to paste something on Apple devices. Hello, Kay Renee. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. For those who are new, thank you for coming. Those of you in the bushes, just please hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment. Let me know that you are here, and I will be sure to come and visit and tell you thank you. Well, I have some good news. I have lots and lots and lots of good news. Oh, thank you, Tori. Command V like victory. Okay, because now that I almost know how to draw the link, I mean, drop a link in the chat, I will be able to have people come up live at the last minute. Even if they don't want to show their face, Michael's Chaotic Gardening. Hudson, thank you for coming. You're in and out because of a storm. Stay safe. I talked to Miss Native Cherokee in one of the formats in IG or something a little while ago, and she was telling me that lightning hit a pole like just 600 feet from where she lives. That's not good, especially out off grid. It might be a long time before you get it back on. I've lived in the country. I've lived off grid. I've had when I did get the electricity on the property, it would be like maybe a week sometimes with nothing, with no electricity, AC, whatever, whatever, whatever. I'm thinking I'm going to have to break down. Somebody was in the chat a couple of weeks ago saying that it was 92 where they were and they were too cheap to turn on their AC. I moved into an apartment 5 years ago actually, and I bought a used air conditioner, and it's the kind that goes in the wall, has to fit certain dimensions, blah blah blah. Well, I think it's trying to die on me, and I think I'm gonna have to swipe or do something. I didn't want to do it because I'm having my big 75th, not anniversary, birthday this year, and I'll be traveling. I want to save my money for fun, but I don't know. This sweating, this is not cool. Although I was running around before the live started, getting ready. Have my handy dandy watch on. Somebody asked me about this big old watch. I love this watch. It was Daddy's watch. He never wore jewelry, my dad. He had one dress watch and one dress ring that he would wear to church on Sundays. But other than that, he worked in construction and landscaping and with his hands. Gigi says, I'm glistening. Oh, yes. Oh, she's moist. Oh, she's moist. I've been running around. It actually has the nerve to be 90 degrees in Connecticut. So when my dad was in his 60s, I bought him this Swiss Army watch, and he would check it every day. He would be checking it to see if I was late coming home from work. He just loved this watch. And then when he passed, I asked mommy for it. But what I like about it is I don't have to worry about it getting wet. It has all these different things if you're diving, all the real stuff. But one thing I noticed, I don't think they make Swiss Army gear anymore. I was looking at something because I wanted to get I don't know, something for it, a different link. Say, here, hey, bite the tongue. Thank you. And I don't have to take this watch off in the rain. I can jump in the pool. I can dive. I can do anything with this watch. But now I saw the logo changed a few years ago, and it wasn't the same, like almost a cross in red. And then the other day when I was looking, it said Swarm. Hello, Casings 55. Thank you for coming and welcome. I appreciate each and every one of you, each and every one of you, because good friends become family, and family is everything. Guess what, everybody? I have not one, not two, but three new nephews in the past a little over a year. Thursday was my great granddaughter's birthday, but I have a new nephew, and his name is Elijah. I have another, sissy, here goes my brain going into a fog. Joan, Sissy, what are our three nephews' names? They all have biblical names. My grandmother would be so happy. My paternal grandmother, she had 10 children, and all of them were named out of the Bible, like Jacob, Joseph, Alice, Ruth. Oh boy, I can't even say them all, but all of them were named out of the Bible. But little Elijah, his name, I'm glad they have a new name, because my dad's name was Joseph Pankey Sr. As you know, my sister Joanne is in. Hello, Diversity Love. Thank you for coming. My sister Joanne was named after our dad, Joe. My baby brother's name is Joseph Pankey Jr. His son's name, that's right, Noah and Elijah. And I can't remember the Justin's son's name. And they oh, I was telling you about Joseph Pankey the third. His son's name is Elijah. Joseph Pankey the fourth, everybody's mail would be messed up. But I'm so happy to have all these new family members. And of course, it's on the Pankey side of the family, and Pankey is my maiden name, but I still claim it. I still claim it. All the good things and all the other things will be blamed on the Pankey family. So that's how that goes. Guava Maria says. So, who else is still planting? I I heard somebody say that they planted more flowers. The groundhog, the squirrels, and the chipmunks took about 60, maybe 60, 70 different plants I have out there. I have a little calendula, a few bulbs that are in the process of growing. G Mama Grows says Joseph runs in her family too. Oh, you know what, G Mama? I know that you live in Ohio. Hi, Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD chick. And we're not going to say where, but I had a note from a Pankey family member. There are different branches. There are tons of Pankeys, but we are having one branch of the Pankey family reunion in Columbus, Ohio in July. I should be coming to that one so I can hang out with the Ohio tribes over there, family members. So, eye is watering. So, has anybody has anybody been doing any arts and crafts or anything? Mike did an amazing project where he printed some 3D things out, taped them together, and made like little cars and little, what do you call it? The Japanese, when you origami, some origami. Happy family reunion. I won't be going to this one, but yeah, I will be getting news about it and posting it. So, looking at my notes so that I wouldn't forget to talk to everybody. A lot of you, our main connection is through gardening. And I know a lot of us wear gloves. You have to wear hats in the weather. You saw something and they were nice, Maria Graham. I don't know what they were, but uh, there's something called grounding and earthing. Are any of you familiar with it? I had heard of it, but I never really knew. I know it was just connecting the ground and going barefooted and touching the soil with your hands. But something that I saw today, I looked at a documentary. Papercraft is a great way to get non crafters to craft, especially boys. So, Michael, does that mean that I can put the link up and you will come up one day and show us? G Mama Grows is starting new flowers, living the apartment life for a while. It's not all bad. It's not all bad. I love living on one floor, no steps. And where I live, it's really quiet. I love it. Diversity Love said she's making a butterfly garden outside and she'll put a camera in the pot so she can see which ones visit. That is really, really cool. Speaking of butterflies, a lot of you know that I'm a quilter. I save my old, especially this magazine, because quilting doesn't mean you sew blankets and things like that. Quilting art means that you just put something on fabric. And when I go over, Miss Mignon is finished. As you know, I showed her to those of you who were here on Thursday, and but she has her birth certificate now, which is her label on the back. She has her hanging sleeve, and some of you notice when I turn around with my computer that there's a big blank space on the wall. That's that's supposed to be the space where I hang some of my textile art. I have a really big painting that I was going to put there, but somehow something happened to the frame and it never got done. Hey, GT Junior Alaska. Hello. He's working and listening. So, grounding talks about going barefoot. Not only do you connect with soil in the ground, and this makes really a lot of sense to me. You read about how everybody's getting the C, the big C, the this, the that. Everything that we do has electricity. It Whether you're using your microwave, your air fryer, your air conditioner, your laptop, your cell phone, your computer watch. But what they were talking about was, all electricity has a hot wire, a negative charge, and grounding. Just think about it. When you're handling all of this electrical stuff, and it's going through your body, I think it's a good idea to put your bare foot on the ground and like ground the electricity within your body. It just makes sense to me. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. And I never thought of the electromagnetic field within our bodies. And they say that the body is what, 70, 80% water anyway. And so I think those of us who don't touch soil, you might want to think about it. You don't may not want to go barefoot out in the garden with snakes. In fact, I recommend boots, and especially in areas where there are snakes. Well, there are snakes everywhere. There are snakes out around here. In fact, the park that's down the street from me where I walk Mr. Hershey, you go up a mountain, and they were giving warnings last summer because some of the dogs that go into the underbrush had been bitten by poisonous snakes. Mr. Hershey's little, though. I don't let him go out of my range. It's true, especially on the beach, as the ocean charge is more intense. The retired gardener says, yes, it does make sense. It does make sense. And if you think about it, back in the days, I know my paternal grandparents were sharecroppers and they raised tobacco. My dad said that when he was younger that they raised cotton as well. And my aunts and uncles or always barefooted. And you, hey, passionately intrigued arts, Tracy, thank you for coming. And you never, well, I won't say never, but you rarely heard of like country people, people in rural areas that went barefooted, getting like all of the, not all, some of the diseases, some of the different cancers and things. It just makes you wonder, you know? So if it doesn't cost anything to do it, I would try it. I believe in natural things, natural herbs. I've been dealing with herbs, some of these books. You notice there hasn't been a quilt up there in a couple of weeks. Hello, Crystal, whole new perspective. You know why? Because let me show you my blight. I have some blight going on in here. Blight. Look at that empty shelf above where it says seeds. What had happened was that the I had too many books on the shelf and they tilted forward and the shelf is bent. So now I there has to be a DIU project, do it no, a DIO, do it ourselves project where I get somebody to help me take all the books out, all the fabric that's above it, all the books all the way down to the bottom and put it flat on the floor, re-square it up. It's a cheap bookcase, like from Walmart or IKEA, and it got out of square. Now, when I was married, my husband was in construction. My bookcases never did that. He reinforced them. He put corners on it. We were in California. He even connected it to the wall so that in earthquakes they couldn't flip over. But he's gone. That's you think that's a lot of books, GT Junior. I gave away 11 bookcases of books before I moved here when I downsized, but I gave it to places where they needed books. There's books all the way over, and there's that blank space on the wall. That's where Miss Mignon's going to go, and I'm going to start switching out some. I read all those books, GT Junior. Do you realize, young man, that I was reading when your parents were born? I've been reading. I started school when I was 4 years old. And I knew how to read and write a little bit then because they had the track system in Connecticut. For those of you who don't know what the track system is, and they give you a test. And because I could read and write a little bit, they put me in all the college prep classes. Diversity said she loved books, actual books. I like books. I like touching them. I like the pages. I just like it. I Joanne could tell you we had bunk beds growing up. And my mom used to set me up. She would tell me to go upstairs and clean out my dresser drawers. Clean out the dresser drawers. As soon as I got out of sight, I would get in the bunk bed and read and read and read. Clean out what drawers? Crystal is canning and in the background. And so I've been reading a long time, long story short. Um, GT, I have books in here. Some of these books I've actually owned for I don't know how many years. I graduated college in 1970. Do you know how long ago that was? Oh my gosh. 1970. Auntie Ellen. It's looking at me. I don't look like all the years I've been through, but yeah, it was a lot. So going to books, this is a book that anybody that's interested in anything in sewing to go to the library and at least look at them. I don't know about buying them because they're getting thinner and thinner and thinner. I save these for reference. And like this one, look at this. This is a hand drawn bumblebee. And if I bring it close, you could see where the wings are actually stitched. That's the difference between a craft and an art when you make it your own. You can see those legs are hand drawn. This magazine happened to be about moths and bees and bugs and butterflies. So, the same thing, you know how you're painting on a rock? You can paint on a piece of fabric. Whole new perspective. So, she's canning two different types of corn relish. G Mama Gross said she needs to read more books. Like touching the ground is it connects you. Touching books grounds me. Look at its feathers is another thing. Feathers are a big thing in Native American and in a lot of world cultures. And this is showing how to stamp feathers, how to wire feathers. I used to collect feathers on my property from peacocks. I had silky chickens. Silky chickens have real silky, real silky. They look like ostriches or something. They don't look like birds. You're getting used to the audiobooks and podcasts. They're great when your eyes are tired. When I was legally blind, I had a special device that would read special ones. And this is trivia. Did you know that when you are legally blind, that you get free postage? You just put free in the corner and you have a card that says that you're legally blind. You like it when the author reads the story. Well, I will have to read my book when I finish it. I actually have, speaking of writing, some of you who are on Facebook or other things, I was one of the speakers here in New Haven not too long ago for the International Festival of Arts and Ideas. And the subject was women over 40 who reinvent themselves. And of course, I have reinvented myself several times. But before, and I like to write, I'm a good writer. And the retired gardener says she has too reinvent herself. Before I had a channel, I hadn't planned on having a channel. I was taking a graphic arts course. Yes, I have a certificate in graphic arts. I don't use it. I just wanted it. And this was a handout that I made for how to grow tomatoes. Somebody was supposed to be paying me for it. They didn't. So after I'd done all this work, I kept it for myself. And this is actually a picture of my garden outside, my community garden, when I first started it with the raised beds. One of my friends, she was here in the live one day. Her name is Raven, and she's my goddaughter. She came and got me and took me to one of the big stores, pushed the cart while I was walking around, got the wood. We got it cut there, and she got her drill, and some of my other sister friends came over and we made the raised beds. And this woman, I had never planted garlic before. She's like 80 or 90 years old. She was showing me, she has a little stick that she used for a poke hole, and she was showing me how to plant garlic. Then this is a little children's garden at an elementary school in the town I used to live in. And I donated the blocks, the potting soil, and some seeds for the kids to have a little garden at the school. But what this brochure is about, and I should print it and share it, it's about how to grow tomatoes. And I had like hashtag eat fresh, organic, homegrown garden. But one of the things that I was explaining to people who hadn't gardened before is that you can have an in-ground garden, a raised bed garden, containers, pallet gardens. Kids love pallet gardens. You take the pallet and you get landscape fabric, staple it to the bottoms so that the good soil stays in, and then you just plant it. When I when I pull out some of my CDs with old photos, you'll see some of the ones that I did with my great grandchildren. So I mentioned pallet gardens. You can grow tomatoes in upside down hanging gardens and hydroponically in water. Mike, see, I really did know about that. Oh, speaking of trivia, we were talking about chickens. Silky chickens, since Gigi Naturals is here and other people have chickens. Do you know that silky chickens all have black skin? It's a Chinese chicken. I mentioned they had the soft feathers like ostrich feathers. I had some that were white, black, partridge colors. They all have black skin. Black skin. It's really weird. Mine were all pets. I didn't eat them, but other people ate them. You always wanted to do a palette garden yourself? I think there's still the palette garden at mom's house that I made for the kids. I could have taught you then. Honey, I have forgotten so much stuff. I probably forgot that I knew that, Mike. So going back to art and quilts, we're segueing back from the insects and stuff. Look at this. Look at the little butter. Remember, I painted what do you call it? A ladybug on my rock, just like you painted on the rock. You can paint on fabric. And to stabilize the fabric, what you do, it could be an old sheet. It can be unbleached muslin. You take some freezer paper and you iron it on the back, or you can buy something called heat and bond and iron it on the back. And that keeps, what does that do? It keeps the water from going through the fabric until it dries. And then you peel it off. But aren't these cool? How many of you would love to have like a quilt like that? Look at the dragonfly. Look at the ladybug. Look at the butterflies. How fun is that? And when I go over there, I'm going to show you that you can trace these. You can go to the library, trace it, put it on black and white, change one thing, and then it's yours. Look at these gardening flowers, and they put them on quilts. Even the guys can do that, Michael. Michael's Chaotic Gardening. Look at this. For those of you who are beekeepers, the honey slime, and he needs to have one like this. You see the honeycomb in the back. Whole New Perspective said she would love a quilt like this. This is the Quilting Arts June, July. Crystal, if you email me, I will take a picture and scan it in and send it to you. Anybody, anything that I have, I don't mind sharing it. Look at the birds. See, this is where gardening is connecting to art. Look at this. Those of you, Maria Graham, who love butterflies, any butterfly that you see, you can just put it on fabric. I thought you guys would enjoy like this, the bug edition of this. You can do it on paper. It doesn't have to be fabric. I just love, love, love fabric. But this book is crazy expensive. I don't I won't say anything bad about it. They might want to give me a subscription so that I could share it with you guys, right? So, but I get a subscription. Joanne Stevens used to gift it to her big sister every year, like for a birthday or Christmas present. And I saved them year after year after year. And they have different things that you can do with them. It's just for ideas. And here I go, Maria Graham, throwing stuff on the floor. But I wait until the end of the year now and let my subscription run out. And then they say, hey, this is your last one. Yeah, yeah, I know. Hello, Darth. Thank you for coming. So I wait till it comes out, and then they give you the welcome back, the Cotter song. And then I go re up it for like 19.95 for the whole year, or 20 when they're like $8 each. Start using your whole name like it's in trouble. I actually do know your whole name, Michael. Michael. And then these are art books. Some of you bicycle. I see you walking, walking, walking. Hello, the jewelry spot. Thank you for coming, G Mama Grows. But if your library doesn't have them, you can ask your library to order them. And Some of you like dogs and cats. You have dogs and cats. I know that, what's her name? Rochelle up in Canada. She loves her little pug. So, this I wanted to show you because people talk about it being hot. People make quilts around the world, they just don't put batting in it. And everybody, I don't care what country you live in, it gets cold at night. Those of you in Tanzania, South America, whatever, it gets cold at night. You have some type of a blanket if it's only a sheet over you. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to show you about quilting arts. We talked about grounding and earthing. Oh, and I have been teaching art. Dexter's funny. He is a funny boy. He is a funny boy. I took this off my wall. I have been teaching arts and crafts for a long time. Yeah, I know it's not straight. This is Auntie Ellen 25 years ago giving a public art class for the International Festival of Arts and Ideas here in New Haven. I was one of the, it wasn't my job. I had a job. I did this part time where I went in different communities and I showed them different things. The reason I'm showing you this is because I taught classes on gourd decorating. This was a birdhouse gourd. The one I'm holding was cut in half, long way, and you can use it for a mask. The ones the ladies are using, I cut a different way and they use it as a bowl. I do a like, and we just taught this on the street. We were sitting out in front of a bunch of stores on a big street, and then we had a big art exhibits. I taught how to make a community quilt where others, everybody made a little part of it. Everybody made a little part of it. Now, here are some of the things. You could tell this is an old picture. Look how old that BMW is on the street. And look how nice and slim I was, too. How about that one? And there were children in the class. There were obviously seniors in the class. The lady that's with her back to you with the white hair, I cut that gourd at like a vase. And then I passed out different types of veneers, shells, fabric. You see me holding a handful of fabric in my hand to decorate these gourds. I actually used to belong to the North Carolina Gourd Society. I wasn't always in North Carolina, but I had property there and I belonged to it anyway and I paid my dues. So, did anybody have, hello, Deidre, the analytic gardener. Can't stay long, but she wanted to say hello. Thank you. Your garden is doing well. I see all the stuff that you're growing. All of you, all of you who are planting your second and third garden, just know that except for lettuce, I haven't eaten one thing out of my garden. It's not, my tomatoes aren't grown. I've got some Paul Robeson. They're starting to flower. I just have herbs and herbs. If the oh, and a few blueberries. I let the birds have those because the little bushes really aren't old enough to be bearing. So, passionately intrigued artists, you love hearing my stories. I'm a jack of all trades, been there, done it. I was never bored. When we were growing up, there were two words you couldn't say. You couldn't say can't, and you couldn't say you were bored. Boy, would mommy load you up with chores. If my mother even looked at me, I could be just sitting there. With, I would have stuff piled up around me like as high as the Empire State Building. Oh, yes, I always look busy. I always look busy. The analytic gardener says she's finally getting some harvest. What about the garden that you planted where your mom lives? Maria Graham starting her second garden. La 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 la. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Your 4-year-old granddaughter tells me she's bored. You give her a lot to do. Oh, honey, you're not bored. That's right. My Renaissance grandma says, I just ate a salad with bush beans and carrots from her garden. I ate salad, but no beans. I am fortunate that I live close to some really nice farms. There's one that's only like 3.5 miles from me, and I can go there and get anything I want. Actually, Yankee Sister says, oh, and my garden is very shady. But you know what? I I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's something I can go out there. I have peace. Even during the you know what, when it wasn't safe to go anywhere, I could go out there, take my mask off, breathe good, clean air, and touch the ground. The lettuces in your arrow garden are starting to come up. I cleaned out all my arrow gardens, and actually, here's one of them here. Why is it black? You're saying, oh, that's such a dull color, Auntie. No, this whole apartment is like a museum. It's all colorful. It has so much art, so much paintings, so much everything that you have to have some neutral colors. So black is my neutral. The bookcases, the sofas, gray leather, some neutral stuff. And I wear neutral stuff in it so I don't go crazy. And what I'm creating, if I have on too many bright colors, it distracts me from what I'm doing. So if I wear neutral colors, I put the color into my art. The analytic gardener says she's struggling in the weird weather. She did harvest some potatoes and onions, but she lost the videos. Oh, now that's one thing I have, you guys. The groundhogs can't find my potatoes. I have like 9 bags of potatoes out there. Well, I talked to you guys so much, but I want to show you a couple of things. And I'm going to take my note card. See, G Mama? I make little notes on this, like I'm giving a speech or something, and then I just carry it around, or it's just like an outline so that some of the things I can remember to tell you. Hello, Crafty Leo. Thank you for coming. The water tank should block the light from the water anyway. I'm just getting I just clean this one out so that I can restock it. I'm going to put some hard to grow herbs or some that might not make it, like rosemary or lavender or something. So, why did I stand up with this? Okay. My little cheeks have the nerve to be flushed. So, I'm excited to show you guys something. To show you guys a lot of things, actually. I can't help it. I smile all the time. That's why I got these big monkey lines on my face. Always smiling. I'm a happy person. 90% of the time. The other percent, I go to PTSD counseling. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to show you is about doing arts and crafts with your family. I know Tracy has grandchildren. This is something I told you my middle great grandchild turned 18 the other day. Her name is Sydney, and she made this for Nana, like when she was 7 or 8 years old. It's some type of a little box, plastic box. I think I have it taped shut so that I didn't lose the parts. And it says, "You rock. I love you, Nana." How cute is that? She probably doesn't even remember. Then she put "Love Sydney," and she painted it. This is so neat. She painted the sides. She decorated it. See, these are the things that you do with your family that lasts forever. Barbarelli always tells me I'm hilarious. I am. I am. I'm the one that gets the kids in trouble when Nana says something. It was funny when they came to North Carolina, and my dad used to say, "Always buy your own land." These kids live in the city, and it's like, okay, you have to be quiet. You can't bother the neighbors. So when they came to North Carolina, I'm in the middle of 4 acres, like 12 miles from the nearest town. And hello, Erica Taylor. Thank you for coming. And the kids would say, one of them said, Nana, I feel like screaming. Okay, just go on the back deck. Go scream. So she's out there, screaming to the top of her lungs, right? The neighbors are going by waving, hi. Oh, look at that little girl. She's just screaming her head off. She's just having so much fun. And then I put like a pop-up tent in the middle of the lawn, and that's where their office were. They would go out there, they would feed the chickens. I would go to my friends' farms and we would pick up apples, and then they go back and give them to the goats and the ducks and everything. So one day the kids were making mud pies or something like that. So I had their hair all tied up. They had a little watering can and they were digging a hole and putting water in it. So I'm like, well, why are you doing that? They had little things. I went and got the big gardening shovel and the big pitchfork and a hose. I'm like, go see if you can dig down to the center of the earth. So I took a picture of them digging these huge holes in the yard. And my daughter was like, Mom, why are you letting them do that? Because they wanted to. It's our land. We could do whatever we want. Whatever you want when you have your own. So now I'm jumping around, but I wanted to talk to you about labels because I'm going to show you Miss Mignon again. And I want you to see, this is like just a little label from one of the craft companies. This is created but with love, and I put Nana on it. Or I guess you can buy them, like, for those of you who were talking about labels, handmade by, and then you put your name on it. The Analytic Garden says, sounds like so much fun. We did have a lot of fun. You go to different farms and pick things. Like handmade with love. It didn't have a place, and you can see how old it is. It's like faded out, and I put Ellen on it. And then you could buy some like this that say specially handmade, and this one has Ellen embroidered. You can do whatever you want. Yes, whatever you want. Or just this one just says Nana. Just says Nana. So what I'm doing is just giving ideas of things that you can do. And you don't have to know how to draw. You don't have to know how to paint. We were talking about butterflies before. I went to the Dollar Tree one day, and this accidentally fell in my car. What is it? It's a stencil. And it's a stencil for all shapes of feathers. We were talking about Native American art and feathers having different meaning. So you could put this on a piece of paper, paint it, stamp it, whatever. You have some of those ideas from when your mother sewed when you were a child. Look at all these. I guess there are like 8 different feathers. Can you see this? This was $1.25, you guys. You could put this on a rock. I'm not showing you anything. Am I bending over? Check all these feathers out for $1. You could put it on paper. You could put it on fabric. And check this one out. Feathers are very symbolic in a lot of cultures. You notice that, like in New Orleans, the parades and everything, they always have feathers. And I want to show you something. So if you have a stencil, yep, accidentally, you have a stencil. Oh, this one accidentally fell in my car too. You know how I have my signature is 3 hearts? Well, you can hand draw them. They can be crooked. They don't have to be straight. But check this out. Those of you who like hearts, and they had a lot of different little stencils. You don't have to draw. You don't have to do anything. Hey, can't stop. Hey, can't stop. The girls behave, Mike said. But look at this. So just say you could put a feather on a piece of paper. You can paint it. You can use a marker. But this is just a regular piece of paper. Maria Graham makes her own cards. I don't know. Do you see this butterfly card? This is a handmade card from Maria Graham. Isn't it pretty? That's so sweet. And I think she used a stencil and little squares of fabric. So this is a piece of notebook paper. I mean, not notebook paper, computer paper, and you fold it in fourths. Why? Isn't that when you buy a card, you open it? That's all a card is. And you can buy card stock at a store. You can buy it at Dollar Tree. You can buy big batches at Staples. But what I want to show you, keep an eye on the time. What I want to show you is that I bought cases of these or sometime. They're still at my mom's house. This is the size envelope that you buy, or you can order on Amazon or whatever. See, that's just a little right here. That's just a little hand drawn flower that I put on there being silly. But here's the envelope. Those of you who have channels, those of you who mail seeds to people all the time, you don't have to buy cards even at the buck and a quarter store. You can make your own. Make your own. And they are so sweet. Diversity Love said she will stencil her rocks. Must be the road mowing if you were home. And these little, there's like 250 envelopes in here. I used to buy them by the case and make my own cards. You can make them on the printer and pass them out. So those of you who have something to write on your journal, look, it fits perfectly inside this size envelope. So this size envelope, it's not like a number 10 or a number 12, but it's called an invitation envelope. It's actually a good quality weight. It's 24-pound ivory bond, and it says it's ideal for 8.5 by 11 sheet, folded to 4.25 by 5.5, and that's what you use for announcements. You can make your own. You can make your own. I just want to empower you guys to use your inner artist. Now, the pièce de résistance, Miss Mignon, is finished. This is the art quilt that I've been working on for the last little bit. About a week ago when I was live, you saw me putting the binding on. I put it on by machine from the front. I hand sewed it on the back. And you see, you can't really see the stitches. It's invisible. And what this black strip is right here is a hanging sleeve. I'll show you how that works. You take like a clothes, not a clothes, a curtain rod. I have a curtain rod here, but the curtain rod is really for my green screen that I haven't put up yet. But I just wanted to show you kind of how it works. So as you see, it's just hanging with a stick. I could put these sticks on a nail and you can hang your own, your little piece, your art. You can stamp it, you can draw it, but no child is complete without a birth certificate. Look at Miss Mignon's label. If I can hold my arms up that long. How about I do this? And hold it like this. Miss Mignon by Ellen Pankey. She's 22 inches by 25 inches. And she was born the 19th of June, 2023. So she was born in time for Juneteenth. And she's upside down. For those of you who didn't see her up close, look at this cute little butterfly pin in her hat. How cute is that? That's actually why I put the gold and black, I mean, gold and purple fabric around the edges to bring the pin out. Now, one last little thing I wanted to show you guys is you saw these rocks. We're not going to paint rocks today though, but I wanted to show you last week I would oh, two more things. You can, I know you can't see my face. You can buy clay. Miss Mignon, thanks everybody. You can buy clay. It comes in hunks like dough, and you roll it out with your regular rolling pin. You can bake it in your oven or one of those little um, counter ovens on a low temperature. And what these are garden markers that I made. I don't know what this says even. I don't know, but I made a whole lot of them. This was supposed to be zucchini, thyme. This is Rita. That's my granddaughter's nickname. Beets, basil. This one's not painted at all. Sage. This is Sid. This is my great granddaughter. And I actually took these to the senior center near my mom's house and they baked them for me. This one says Cam, my great grandson. I don't know what that one was. Oh, this one is thyme. But what I'm going to do with this, and the reason I'm showing it to you, is so that I put it with a hole in it. I'm going to string these together with some fishing hook, and these are going to be bell chimes and wind chimes. They'll probably walk away from my community garden, so they may end up in Arizona at Auntie Joanne's house. So let me see if I'm at the bottom of the chat because I want to show you one more thing. Nikki and Stacy are going live in a few minutes, but you know, I run everything down to the last minute. I want to show you how to connect a leather pocket or pleather as they call it, or naugahyde. It's fake leather for those of you who don't want to use animal skins, for those of you who are vegan, whatever. So here's a little piece of leather that fake leather, I mean, that I'm going to use for a pen pocket. But what I wanted to show you is that I'm folding it over, right, to reinforce it. And whenever you put labels on anything, whether it's a label for a quilt or whatever, you can always stick it with a little bit of Elmer's glue. This is a glue stick. So this will hold it because you can't put a pin in leather. See? You see the little strip of leather? I mean, of glue. So now I'm folding it under. And what I'm going to do is sew one row of stitching because my pen will attach to this when I put it on this journal. And journals, composition books, all school papers and things are going on sale now. So now is a great time to buy it. The other tip I wanted to give you, if you're working with leather or something like that is solid, you want to increase your stitch length so that the tiny little holes don't perforate. don't perforate what you're sewing on. So I'm just going to show you how I turn this under. I'm actually going to sew on this side so I can see how much of it that I have. And I'm going to sew one little row. I just take a couple of seconds. Backspace. Make it even a little longer. Okay. So this is turned under. Clip the strings. And then I'm going to attach it. I think I'll put it on a cute little angle like this. And I'm not going to pin it. I'm just going to hold it and take it off. And those are, so I just want to encourage you guys to do what you love. Hey, Miss T with the T. Thank you for coming. Mike says, you never think of these things. You're just learning. Glue is better. Yeah, it is diversity, love. I have glue. I just didn't want to take it all out for this like 3 seconds. So you can use Elmer's glue. I like this kind of glue better. It's sticky, tacky glue. It's quite a bit stronger than Elmer's glue, but it dries clear. It's non-toxic, ultra resistant, and it's transparent. So without further ado, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. I love L. This is a U in American Sign Language. I love you all. I appreciate you. And thank you for coming. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hello, Tangi. Hello. Mike said, great live. So we're going to boogie on over to Hands in the Dirt and Stacy, the chat. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you.